All right.
All right, I will start. Oh, I thought I was muted. Sorry. I will call the meeting at 5:34. And we are all here, right?
Correct. I see Joe and I see John Regan is here on phone. Yep.
Yep, Lisa. All right. Let's see. First things first, the meeting for next month, right?
Correct.
March 16th, 2022.
Yep. So it works. So just so we're aware, and I just said this before we went on air, this will be according to the governor's emergency order, which expires on April 1st at this point in time. This March meeting would be our last via Zoom. So starting in April, after April 1st, we will be required to adhere to the open meeting law and meet in person at City Hall. So Wednesday, March 16th would be our last Zoom meeting unless something changes.
All right. Let's see. Next in line is the approval of minutes for December 15th. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, and on to regular meeting, right?
Yep. All right. I'm happy to provide a brief update on the parking lot, and then just based on the things here on the agenda, we'll go through that order. First thing first, the gravel lot. I'm not sure if anybody's been down there recently, but it has not held up well at all through this ice and thaw and minimal snow. But there's the ice and the snow, then the icing over, then the melting. Really took a toll on the gravel lot, and it's treacherous to run through. So I am excuse me, I have a leftover cough from myself, but I do have we'll be speaking to the DPW about trying to figure out how to grade that. It's really a challenging thing to do during this time of year, just based on freeze and everything that happens, but we have to figure out if we can just throw some gravel in and clean it up as best we can. I think that's going to be our best bet. So I will reach out to the DPW this week to see if we can make that work. We do have some money in our revolving account to purchase some material if they can spread it for us. But that's really the gravel lot update at this point. The other things are around it. It's getting more use. Today was a busy day over there, but over the course of the past 8 or 10 weeks, the Maple Leaf or the Westfield Bank has been more restrictive, understandably, about who uses their parking lot that's on Arnold Street. That is combined with Maple Leaf being a more popular place and people hopefully starting to get out a little bit more often, is actually making the gravel lot up front a little bit more popular over the course of the past couple of months. So I guess that makes it a little bit more important that we address the minefield that's over there right now. But we'll plug away at it. So we're dealing with that. The WRA, as it relates to the gravel lot, the WRA is still in conversations about what the potential future of that will be. We are actually looking at the WRA is actually looking at potentially applying for a Mass DOT Streets and Scapes grant application to make some improvements, not so much on the gravel portion, but in the grassed area just to the south of the gravel lot, the old Madeline Murphy property. And so the hope is that would potentially become a more landscaped, cleaner place for public gathering. potentially for concerts to be placed there. I know that there's some question about the future of the tobacco barn lot being available for concerts potentially, but we're trying to figure out how to bring concerts, and the Mayor McCabe has pushed us to try to figure out how to deal with bringing more concerts back towards the downtown as opposed to setting them up down at the South Middle School. So this is a place that we think maybe could work toward that, but we're still early in that process. But that's something that may or may not impact the gravel lot going forward. So I wanted to at least inform you guys of that. So that's kind of the gravel lot update. Any questions on that? Okay, seeing none there. Second thing on the list here is about dumpster corrals. And so in January, first week of January, what's their name? J-Dog was hired to clean out the Franklin Street and School Street, Reader 3 parking lots, the dumpster corrals. People had been dumping furniture, old televisions, just really the bulk items that don't belong there illegally in those spaces. And it tends to be every 6 weeks we need to have those cleaned out. I will be headed down there this week to take pictures to see if we need to hire them again. DPW has a purchase order open for both J-Dog and for another company, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, to do that for us. But I know that we've spoken in the past, and I know the chairperson has asked me to push forward with this relative to the cameraing of the lots. And I do have, I did receive a quote on Monday of this week, finally, through the IT department has been working with Valley Communications to come up with a strategy as to the cameraing of the lots. It came in a little bit more expensive than I anticipated, which it always does. You always, for whatever reason, I like to think positively and I think that we'll be able to do all these things. But the grand total for 4 cameras, so it would be 3 lots, would be 2 in the Thomas Street lot, 1 that would cover the Reader 3 lot from School Street, and 1 in Franklin Street that would cover the entirety of that lot. The quote came in at about $24,000 for an install. So I don't carry $24,000 in our off-street parking commission budget for capital needs. But what we do have is we have our revolving account that the account that we deposit funds in from people who purchase stickers. And the purpose of it is for maintenance of the lot. And there's 6 things on the list that we're allowed to spend the money on. It's a council order that created the account. One of those is not cameras. So I'm going to ask you guys if you think it would be wise of us to go to the city council with a request to amend it to include cameras as a allowable use of that funding. We have $50,000 in that account. So we generally spend about $20,000 each year on the maintenance things, on emptying the trash. On one of the things that is allowed is paying for the meter machine to be serviced and for our warranty there, and our spring and fall cleanups and all that kind of stuff. So we spend about $20,000 each year, which means that we have capacity to do this with the cameras if we like. We can do partial. My primary goal is I really need to do Franklin Street. If we do, my secondary one would be I'd like to do the Reader 3 because that's where we have the most dumping issues. And then lastly would be the Thomas Street lot. But so I can prioritize however you guys think I should proceed. I'm happy to consider that. But that's kind of where we're at with it. So I guess I'd open it up to any questions or comment that you might have on whether cameraing is something that we should consider. And just for your reference, every time we do a cleanup, it's about $800. And that $800 is, mean, it's not huge money every year. It's just the unquantifiable benefit is it keep the lot clean. And it's certainly a benefit that we would want to provide. So it's not to mean that dumping would end, but it would at least provide us with an opportunity to either pursue people who are doing it, or as a deterrent to doing it in general. So that's kind of where we stand with it. So I'd certainly open it up to answer any questions that you have about that.
Would it make more sense to do it all at the same time opposed to?
It would be, yeah, it would be. I mean, it would be more economical for us to do it together. I mean, they'd be out once. I mean, when you're doing it in piecemeal, it becomes a little bit more. They charge you a little bit more to come out each time. But I mean, if I can't afford $24,000, we don't think we can. Then I mean, I don't think it's so outrageous that it would go to $45,000 or $50,000 if we were to tier it off and do it in phases. But it certainly could probably get up to the 30s if that were to be the case. That would be my guess anyway.
And who would monitor the cameras?
So they're actually they would be the police department would have the ability to monitor them live, and the tape is only good for, I think it's 21 days. So we'd have to go back and see. I mean, if you wanted to go back any further than that, you're kind of not in a great spot. But I believe it was 21 days was what they said was the memory before it gets erased.
Do we know if that's the same in comparison to other towns who use the same thing, or?
It's generally so we're actually doing this together with the police department and engineering as it relates to the downtown portion of the bike trail. So we're on the same scheme as they are. And I mean, generally that's the case. They don't save this information forever. It turns over fairly quickly.
Yeah, I think 21 days is a good amount of time to have stored.
Yeah, I mean, you hopefully within 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours, we would have been informed of whatever the issue is. So it would be that time frame would be good. That the goal is to be informed within that 72 hours so we can get back, figure it out. And my eyes on the street for the most part, I get down there as much as possible too, but the parking enforcement officer generally is the one who sends me pictures when something happens down there. So he's generally there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So worst case scenario, it would be a 5 days turnaround if nobody from the private side or citizen side called. He'd be back there. Once he leaves on Wednesday, he'd be back on Monday.
Right. That's all the questions I have. If anyone else has any.
So do you think you think it's wise of me to go?
I would do it all at once.
Yeah.
I would do it all at once. I wouldn't piecemeal it.
Okay. And you think I should go to the council? Because the only way that I'm going to be able to afford it is if we go to the council and ask them to amend the order allowing for the maintenance fund. And I think I have a good case for this being maintenance related, or at least parking lot user related to what the fee is charged for. It's a service to the lot users. So that's kind of the case I would go and have to make to the council on that. But in safety, right? So that was the other thing that we think about and is on this, and this is where the 21 days might not be as helpful, but we've been called by insurance companies in the past, and certainly I have to talk to our law department about what that means when if there's accidents in the parking lot, or most of the time it's somebody's car gets hit, nobody's around, the guy doesn't leave a note, doesn't do anything, insurance company asks if I have these things. So that's something that I got to deal with the law department. But that's the other thing, that, and we've lost a couple of our lampposts in those kinds of scenarios where somebody hit a lamppost, knock it down, and just drive away. So we'd at least have the ability to pursue some of these people if those things were to happen.
Right. So would you like us to make a motion?
If you could, that'd be great.
I will make a motion to amend the order for you to ask the city council to amend the order for the maintenance for
Security cameras.
security cameras. Yeah, I was like thinking of another word for it. Yeah, it was for security cameras for the 3 parking lots.
I'll
You
second
want to
that one.
open. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Great, thank you. So I'll start working on that this week and try to get it in for the, let's see, we're in the 6th, so the first March meeting. That would hopefully, a communication would go into the council and be referred to a committee to talk about it. So thank you for that.
Perfect.
Otherwise, general off-street parking lot updates. I mean, the snow has been, it hasn't been awful. The ice has been awful. We haven't had a lot of complaints downtown. The challenges have been around ice. So far, I've been keeping a running total, and it doesn't come out of our budget, but I'd like to update you guys anyway. Is we've spent about $28,000 in clearing the off-street lots and de-icing them over the course of this winter. There have been about, I think, 14 events so far, 14 or 15, either nights or mornings that they've had to come out and lay down salt or shovel or what have you. So we're it's not cheap, even in a year when there's not a ton of snow. It's not cheap to deal with the snow stuff. But for the most part, it's gone fairly well. I did receive a concern from Mama Cakes about 2 weeks ago relative to where the pile is in the Reader 1 lot behind their building. The pile, and I feel like we've said this before, the pile place has been put in the handicap spaces of the lot, which is obviously of concern, not only to it's just got, not only because it's not moral or ethical to put it into the handicap spots, but I think we could end up with a little bit of liability or concern not having those available. So I did speak to Mountain View. They actually went out and moved a pile that was in a handicap spot, but they did that in the Depot Square lot. So I have to get back with them on the one in the Reader lot to do that. And in the meantime, I think next year, because the challenge with the one in Reader is there's just not many other places to put the snow. The way that the lot is laid out, there's a bump out that works well for the snow that's near where these handicap spaces are. And there's really not many other places to put the snow. So the thought is I'm probably going to investigate if we can move the handicap spots just to so they do move them over about 6 spots. So rather than on our edge near the Santander property, move them closer to the Church Street Commons, but still directly against that curb line behind the buildings. But try to ramp it out over on that side, and just deal with it that way. But that would require us to restripe those spaces and just juggle them. I mean, I hope that it would work. I think it's possible, but it would just take a little bit of effort on our end this summer to make that happen. So that's that's kind of the off-street concern. There's still we haven't had to do any hauling yet. Usually by this time of year we've had to do hauling of snow, of piles out. The piles aren't small. Thomas Street pile is still pretty big. Franklin Street pile is still pretty big. But the plan is that at the next storm we would call in, because that's another about $3,500 expense every time we call somebody in to remove the piles. Which, not that we haven't gotten major complaints at this point. Certainly we don't want to get to the point where we are, but we're trying to be as prudent as we can with the finances and balancing that with the needs of the users. So I would expect at least a couple more storms. So I would expect that we'll have to remove some piles at some point. But right now things are fairly clear. We were lucky to have that melt late last week. Got rid of a lot of the ice that was along the edges. So I think we're in a decent spot with that. And I know that, and just thinking through what people have concern about. I noticed again this week that people are parking in the old Sue's lot, so I have to deal with that. I'll get to that with Sergeant or with Lieutenant Hall in the police department this week, and see what they can do over there. And we'll kind of go from there. But that's really all I have on the parking lots update. Any questions? Anything that you want me to think about on the parking lot portion? And then I can get to the signage stuff as well. Okay, so on signage, we're still working to get those distributed. The Mayor McCabe and I were supposed to have done that about 2.5 weeks ago. However, that was a week I actually was out. I was quarantined for that 8 or 10 days. So we haven't been able to reschedule, but the mayor wants to come out with me, deliver the signs. I shared them with him. He thinks they're great, wants to get them out there as best we can. He wants us to do that, to do a walking tour with him. So certainly anybody who's interested would be welcome to join us once we schedule that. But he wants to do a walking tour with the sign. He wants to deliver the sign, and he wants me to deliver the emergency business assistance application to these businesses as well. So he's going to come with us. Wants to make it it's a great opportunity for him to go down and meet a lot of these people. I know he's been down there quite a bit already. He's met the people in Boston Bay. He's met the people at Alo Saigon and Yummy Noodle and all those shops that are in the corridor. So, and every time he's really pushing the grant program, but certainly he wants us to bring the ability to bring that signage in as well. I think he thinks it's a great way for him to introduce himself and for the parking commission to make our the availability of our lots more visible for everybody. So again, thank you, Joe, for that initiative. And the goal would be hopefully next week. I think things slow down just a little bit because schools are on vacation. I think the calendar might have some openings for him to start doing that with me. So I'm going to try to get on that calendar for late next week to send those out. But certainly between now and our next meeting, they'll be out there and distributed. And again, once that's scheduled, I'll send you guys an email just letting you know when we're doing it if you wanted to join us. So that was that one. The last thing that I have, and then I'm certainly willing to answer any questions that anybody has, or it's listed on here as Quorum Concerns. As everybody's aware, we've had challenge the last, I think 3 of the last 5 meetings have had to have been canceled due to our inability to get 2 of the 3 members to be here, and it's been differing reasons, understood. But the challenge that we will have going forward, and it's not so much this part of it, but the challenge that we're going to have going forward is and this is more for, I think, for John in a lot of ways, but the governor's executive order allowing for us to do these meetings on Zoom expires on April 1st. So we only have one more month of Zoom meetings before we have to begin. And I think it's a good thing before we come back and we're meeting together in City Hall. But so we need to start thinking about that going forward. And we've Wednesdays have been our traditional night. I'm not wedded to them. There's nothing in the ordinance that requires that this remain our night. We can change it if we want to. But I think it's that we just need to work together to figure out how that works, number one. And number two, everybody, there's so many other committees that have standing meetings in different, and there's so few rooms in City Hall that we need to try to figure out when a room is available for us to use. So I will leave that open. I think there's been some expression of interest in potentially expanding the I don't want to call them duties, but the mission of the board to not only be an off-street parking commission where we're just dealing with parking, but potentially evolving it into more of a parking and downtown advisory committee, because all of our parking is downtown. We don't have parking. I mean, I still count the north side as downtown. I think most of us do at this point. But I think okay, I got another meeting going here. But I think we need to think about if we wanted to take on some additional duties, and that's something that's out there as a potential opportunity. I think it makes all the sense in the world. The people who care about the parking lots are the downtown business owners. Nobody else really has much to say or think about them. So I think there may or may not be capacity here for us to think about other ways that we can work to help downtown. So I'll leave that there and see what you guys have for questions or concerns. Certainly around logistics, around when we meet, but also around when we what else we decide we can do. So that's my piece on that. If anybody wants to chime in.
The day doesn't bother me. We can, I mean, if we want to change so that it's easier for John, that's fine with me.
Yeah, it's fine. Fine with me too.
Okay, so do you guys want me to just investigate, just kind of come up with some times where rooms are available that aren't Wednesdays?
Sure.
John,
I
is
mean,
that kind of,
yeah, it might be easier to figure that out now, rather than waiting till the last minute.
yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
maybe
if
that
we can't, like I said, we can't change it, then, it is what it is. It's not, I mean, there's nothing I can do about my work schedule that pays my mortgage and everything.
yeah, no,
So,
understood.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, no, there's nothing I can do about that. So,
Yeah, no, and believe me,
and it is what, like I said, it is what it is. I'm not gonna put up a stink about it if we can't change anything. I understand it.
No worries, John. We have your back.
We do, yeah. So I will. So what other? What? I mean, I know it probably changes every week for you, but I mean, certainly the later ones are better. So like the 6:30, 7 o'clock time is better for in-person meetings. For you, John.
So most days, honestly, right now it's Wednesdays, and I don't know if Thursdays are going to come into a factor at all. But I know right now Wednesdays are the only day that are tough for me. But I mean, if you do something on a Monday or a Tuesday, I can be at City Hall at 4 o'clock.
Okay. So yeah, so we would end up. I mean, we generally would do something around 6 probably. But I will. I'll check into Mondays and Tuesdays and like which week. I mean, there's 4 weeks. Sometimes the 4th week is the quietest week, believe it or not. I mean, most meetings are either the first week, second week, or third week of the month. So the fourth week might actually play in our favor as a potential like Monday or Tuesday night kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Ellie and Joe, I mean, do you guys have a problem with doing a Monday or Tuesday?
I think for me, it's fine. I can try to make things work wherever. But I just wanted to let me plug that through. Let me see if I can come up with a menu of what options that we could get into room 315 or room 201 at a 6 o'clock time frame or something, and send that out to you guys this week, and we'll have to just address our schedule that way.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, those 2 days are I can do whatever I need. I mean, it's not, I don't need to stay at my office until whenever. I can leave my house and, like I said, get down there. The earliest I can get down there is 4 o'clock. So anything after 4, I'm good.
Okay, great. So I'll work on that tomorrow when I get in and come up with I'll work with the city clerk's office. The city clerk's office is responsible for the scheduling of meeting rooms after work hours. So I'll talk to them tomorrow to see what rooms we can get into on a regular basis.
Perfect.
Other than that, that's pretty much all I had to report today. If there's anything anybody wants me to work on, or questions or comments for me, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I know that Lisa wants to share the bills.
The only question, or the only thing I got right here, next year you might want to just look at other snow removal companies. I do all snow removal for 15 branches, and I think we've spent $30,000 this year on snow removal, and we've had a lot more snow out in Boston than we've had in Western Mass.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Between Boston and Maine and New Hampshire, we had a ton more snow.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I'm at 30 or 32,000 for my 15 locations, and some of my locations some of them have parking lots bigger than most of the ones in Westfield.
Yeah, I'll share with you the menu of everybody can have it. I can actually send to everybody the menu of what they charge us per storm. It's like it's on, it's not very different than anybody else. It's per bag of ice stuff that they do, or like it's like 0 to 3 inches of plowing is X number, and then 3.1 to 7 is another. So I'll share it with you just to see how it compares to what you're seeing out there.
All right.
Perfect. Lisa.
Okay. So for this month, regular bills totaled $2,146.92, which includes uniforms for our enforcement officer, Verizon, the charge for the meter machine, Garten, who empties our barrels, the passport for input of all of our tickets, and there was a charge in there for, we ordered new parking permits to encompass years 2023 through 2026, and the plastic hangers that we hand out to motorists for their permits. And then our revolving bills were $50, which includes our monthly meter machine fee, which totals $2,196.92. And I did scan all those bills and email them to you for review. And that's all I've got.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve all the bills.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Lisa, I'm going to have those in your inbox before you get to work tomorrow.
Great, Ellie. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then I will get them down to auditing.
Perfect.
Great.
All right. Does anyone have anything else?
I think that's it for me.
All right, I'd like to conclude the meeting at 6:09.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.